Good afternoon, viewers at home, and welcome again to another episode of Insights from Eximeters Legal. My name is Esther, your host. Last week we started a new series which we themed Business and the Law. And we started looking at the different business entities under the company law, using Nigeria as our base case study. How companies are incorporated in Nigeria, for instance, what is the regulatory body that handles company registration in Nigeria, and the legal requirements under the Companies and Allied Matters Act, amended in the year 2020, operative in Nigeria for companies regulations. Today we're going to continue in that series, and we will be looking majorly at registering foreign companies in Nigeria, the basic requirements and processes. So let's ride on and enter this discourse. A foreign company really can come into Nigeria to invest in the Nigerian economy. However, they have to register like every local company in the system. So a company based, for instance, let's say in Germany, wants to open a subsidiary in Nigeria, has to open that subsidiary as a separate legal entity within the Nigerian local market. The law that governs registration of foreign businesses is still the same, which is the Company Allied and Matters Act, in terms of being the regulatory act or legislation that handles and regulates company registration. So the Company Allied and Matters Act 2020 makes certain provisions for foreign company registration in Nigeria. Every company that wants to operate within the Nigerian legal system as a company in the Nigerian market must register his company and his business within the ambits of the company law in Nigeria. There are, however, different dynamics to registration of foreign businesses in Nigeria. Before we go into the requirements, there are exceptions that are provided for under the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, where a foreign company may carry on business in Nigeria and not register as a local company with the Corporate Affairs Commission. If a foreign company is designated to carry on a specialized duty by the government, let's take for instance the Nigerian government invites a foreign company to come and carry on business here for a specialized duty, just for a period of time, definitely such a company does not need to register its company as a going concern in Nigeria, because it's just for a period of time and it's just carrying out that specialized duty for that period. So a company invited, let's say for instance, come and do certain things for the government of Nigeria for a period of time, may not necessarily register its company here in Nigeria as a local company. However, every other company that does not fall into this category, a company who wants to operate business, carry on business here, make profits in Nigeria, definitely must register its company with the Corporate Affairs Commission, like we discussed last week. How local businesses, how local companies are set up, it also follows suit. So, majorly, the Corporate Affairs Commission, like we had explained in our episode last week, is responsible for company registrations in accordance with the law. And a foreign company who wants to come into Nigeria to set up a business first will have to register like a local company with the Corporate Affairs Commission in accordance with the Companies and Allied Matters Act, which is the legislation that governs company registration. Secondly, after fulfilling the requirements of registering with the Corporate Affairs Commission, like we explained last week, making sure it submits its articles and memorandum of association, looking into who the directors will be, what are the share capital, and different things in that regard. It, however, needs to also register its business with the what we call a regulatory authority that we call the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, which the acronym is NIPC. So the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission is the regulatory body that is saddled, with coordinating and promoting investments in Nigeria. So foreign investors are coming, they have to, after registering at the Corporate Affairs Commission, must register their company with the NIPC, which is the Nigerian Investment and Promotion Commission. So there is an act that regulates, there is the act of the law, a legislation that regulates the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, and such foreign businesses must make sure that they follow the laid down procedures in the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act. So definitely it's always advisable. For instance, we're looking at Nigeria, using Nigeria as a case study, and of course in different jurisdictions, even internationally, every jurisdiction has its own processes and procedures for foreign companies to be able to come in and operate within their locality. So when you register a company, a foreign business, ideally, there is a minimum registration share capital for foreigners who wish to set up business in Nigeria. And according to the Companies and Akinleye-Martins Act, there's a minimum of 10 million share capital company. So this share capital company requirement is not, however, applicable for registration of a business name or sole proprietor. It's applicable for a limited liability company. So if you look at what we discussed, last week, we had mentioned some of these issues in terms of minimum share capital and all that. So the foreign companies also have the duty to follow the minimum share capital requirements. And if a foreign company is coming to register, at least the minimum share capital it can use to register is 10 million naira. And the way it is, only Nigerian citizens or any person lawfully resident in Nigeria will be able to register a business name. So a foreign company has to register as a private limited liability company, really, except if, even though the company has foreigners in it, they are already legally resident in Nigeria, and or they are Nigerian citizens, maybe by naturalizations. We have foreigners that have come here over the years and they have naturalized as Nigerians and they have Nigerian passports. Then definitely they'll qualify as Nigerians under the law. So after registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission and registering with the Nigerian Investment and Promotion Commission, which is another regulatory agency, as we had said earlier, that monitors and coordinates investments in foreign investments in Nigeria. Such foreign companies also must register their businesses with the Federal Inland Revenue Service. So the company has to file for tax registration and value-added tax registration with the nearest Federal Inland Revenue Service office. So to be able to get its tax clearance certificate and its tax identification number, which is very, very important, for every company in Nigeria, whether you're a foreign company or a local company. Another interesting thing, when it comes to foreign business is registering, is registration of the foreign business to be able to obtain the business permit. In Nigeria, there's something the Ministry of Interior calls the business permit, which every foreign business must obtain to be able to operate business in Nigeria, regardless of the fact that they've registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So a foreign company cannot say, okay, because I've registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, that is it. No. The lawyers and consultants of such foreign businesses must be able to advise them that they have to obtain business permit, and there's a certificate of business permit that is given by the Ministry of Interior to every foreign business. This is very, very cogent, and the Ministry of Interior, the Federal Ministry of Interior takes it very seriously. And we know that immigration authorities in Nigeria, they are governed under the Ministry of Interior, and in a sense, that business permit is an immigration document, as it is. And also, there's also a second permit that every foreign business must obtain, especially when it has foreigners in its business. That's the resident permit in Nigeria, and we call it the SEPAC. But before we go into that, there is also another thing that the Ministry of Interior must give to such foreign companies. Apart from the business permit, they must give expatriate quotas. Expatriate quotas is the quotas allocated for each foreign company that wants to bring in expatriates, that is skilled personnel from other countries to come and work in Nigeria, to come and work in their business. So the way it works practically is there are certain positions allocated for companies that are foreign companies operating as a foreign company locally in Nigeria. And those are the positions called quotas. So let's take, for instance, a foreign company could have like 16 quotas, and so that such being like 16 positions. And the way the Ministry of Interior looks at this is they have to look at, okay, is that position a position in which a Nigerian cannot ideally fill up that space? Don't Nigerians have such skill to be able to fill up that space? So for instance, there are a lot of accountants in Nigeria, take for instance. So it's not like a specialized skill for a manufacturing outfit. So a manufacturing outfit will definitely not be given a quota for accounting positions. They could be given a quota, take for instance, for something like a design specialist, depending on the kind of business such company operates. I'll take for instance a manufacturing outfit, a manufacturing company that is based in Nigeria, registered as a local company but operated by foreigners. A manufacturing outfit could have things like technical design manager, given as a quota by the Ministry of Interior for such companies, to be able to bring in expatriates from another country to come and fill up such positions to assist with the business of the company and work in such a foreign company located here in Nigeria. So the way the Ministry of Interior looks at these things, they look at it in the sense that that position you are applying to bring in a foreigner to come and fill would definitely be a position in which no Nigerian would have such a skill in a sense to be able to fill it up here in Nigeria. So we have things like, they have different positions and quotas that could be given, for such foreign companies. So there are laid down procedures and ways and manner in practical sense, really, to be very honest, in which you apply for such expatriate quotas. So you have to submit things like your business permit, submit your tax clearance certificate, you submit your certificate of incorporation, and a couple of other things. And there are certain fees that are paid, to the Ministry of Interior to eventually be able to get such expatriate quotas. So it's always advisable for any foreign business that wants to come and set up in Nigeria to be duly informed and get proper consultants that can help with making sure that they get the right ways of doing things, especially with the Ministry of Interior, because in practice, the Ministry of Interior in Nigeria could be very strict, with foreign businesses when it comes to immigration issues, if they don't do things the proper way. So the expatriate quota will give an expatriate, an expert in a particular skill, the opportunity to be able to come and work in Nigeria and acquire residency status in Nigeria. So having said that, the foreign company has filed with registration with Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission he has gotten his business permit, he has gotten his expatriate quota, both from applying to the Ministry of Interior, Federal Ministry of Interior. The foreign company also has to obtain resident permit for all foreigners working in the business. So the resident permit gives the foreign company the responsibility, sole responsibility, to take care of foreigners that it employs in its business and make sure that whatever they do, the company is liable for whatever the expatriate does while on the soil of Nigeria. So there's something we call the Combined Expatriate Residence Permit and Aliens Card. So in acronym, we call it the CEPAC. That is the resident permit card issued in Nigeria for foreign businesses to be able to give their foreign employees, based in Nigeria, a resident status. So it's usually given for a period of 1 year, and the company has to apply on behalf of every expatriate coming into Nigeria to come and work. Ideally, in practice, when a foreign company wants to invite an expatriate to come and work in its business in Nigeria, having obtained the business permit and gotten the expatriate quota allocation, the expatriate quota allocation is usually issued in form of a letter that is given by the Ministry of Interior, and is saying, okay, let's say, for instance, a company, if a foreign company located in Nigeria applies for instance, 15 expatriate quota positions. The Ministry of Interior has the discretion to either grant the 15, or let's say, they say, well, we are only granting 10 out of the 15. So let's take, for instance, they give them the whole 15, or they give them the whole 10, they give them 10 quotas. Such is listed in a letter signed by the Minister of Interior in Nigeria. And that is now giving the such foreign company the opportunity to be able to invite employees outside Nigeria to come and work in his business. So the letter of employment has to carry that quota position that you are allocating to such foreign employee that wants to come and work in Nigeria. So the way it works in practice, I just want to say that briefly, the way it works in practice, most foreign companies have counterpart agencies outside Nigeria that helps in doing the immigration papers, like travel agents, for the expatriates they want to bring in. So when they send such letters out, the employment letter and all the business permits and everything, their travel agent outside Nigeria will submit it to the Nigerian embassy in the country where the expatriate lives. And the Nigerian embassy over there will issue a subject to regularization visa, which we call the STR visa, for the expatriates to come into Nigeria. So in practice, the subject to regularization visa is only operative for 3 months. After 3 months, then the company will now apply for the resident permit, which we call the CEPAC, that Combined Expatriate Resident Permit and Alien Card, for such expatriates. However, if within the 3 months of the subject to regularization visa, such company feels, oh, this employee does not meet up to our requirements, they might send such employee back to its country of residence, and they have that opportunity. So that 3 months visa is like a probationary period also for companies to be able to assess the expatriates, before they go and expend some money on the expatriate resident permit card. Because of course it doesn't come for free too. It costs quite a lot of money, to obtain the resident permit. So, having said that, the company applies for expatriate card, for his CEPA card, which is the expatriate resident permit card, for its employees. The foreign company also has to obtain an export certificate in a situation where the company intends to be exporting goods or raw materials out of Nigeria. So if the foreign company has the need to export goods, he has to make sure that he applies to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council to be able to get his export certificate. Also, they have to obtain the requisite business license in the area where the foreign company is operating. So let's say a foreign company is operating, let's say mining, for instance. It still has to go to the Ministry of Solid Minerals in Nigeria to make sure that it obtains the mining license. So you cannot say, because, yes, I've gotten the certificate of incorporation, that saves it all. No. Every company, even local and foreign, must obtain the license, requisite license, that regulates the business he wants to operate. Also, the foreign company must make sure it opens bank accounts, definitely ensuring that its directors, most of the time, you know, the strategy in practice, most of the time, the foreign company will have at least one Nigerian director, which is very, very important, you know. At least the issue of naturalization and indigenous schemes also come into play at times when foreign companies want to come and register in Nigeria. So most of the time, in terms of fair play, the foreign company, most often than not, have Nigerian citizens as part of its directors as well on the board. So opening the bank account, the directors have to make sure that they are on ground to make sure that everything is okay in opening the bank account, and also obtaining the certificate of capital importation. This is very, very important, especially for a foreign company, because most of the time when, let's say, they want to acquire a loan from the bank in Nigeria, this certificate is always requested for. So the certificate of capital importation for equity or loan brought in from outside Nigeria for the purpose of the business is very, very important. So in practice, the way the certificate of capital importation operates is the government wants to know, you know, through the banks, how much was the percentage of capital that have been imported from outside the jurisdiction into Nigeria by the business, you know, for the purpose of operating, you know, initial capital brought in. And this is not, it's not cast in stone, because most of the time you can always have maybe shareholders already on ground in Nigeria. However, there are times definitely such foreign company has to bring in investments, capital from its own head office from outside Nigeria to start up in Nigeria. So the certificate of capital incorporation is very, very important for the foreign company setting up in Nigeria. So ensuring also that the foreign company appoints the requisite consultants. It's very important for the foreign company to appoint auditors, you know, that will audit their accounts. They always need auditors. They need tax consultants. A lot of times, the auditors at times could double as tax consultants as well. So these are various steps required for under the law for foreign companies. Another very important requirement, every company, whether foreign or local, also, yes, must have auditors. They also need to have the company secretary in accordance with the law. You know, the Akinleye-Martins Act 2020 in Nigeria explains explicitly who could be company secretaries of a company. I think one of our series we have dealt with who company secretaries could be. So it's not necessarily lawyers alone. We could have people who are just members of the Chartered Institute of Secretaries, Chartered Accountants, you know, different categories of professionals are listed in the Akinleye-Martins Act as those qualified to be company secretaries. So these are very important steps for a foreign company to ensure that it takes in making sure that it sets up a business properly in Nigeria and be able to operate legally, you know, in Nigeria. Of course, there are other issues. You want to acquire property, different things. All those ones have their own legal implications as well, making sure that they get the right property that has the proper certificates of occupancy or proper lease, you know, ensuring that there's no government acquisition on such land or property they want to acquire. So it's always very important to get the proper professional advice, you know, even before the foreign company comes to set up in Nigeria. They have to ensure, you know, as it were, that they do the proper feasibility study, like every other company should anyway, whether local or foreign, to know, okay, the terrain they're going into, how does it work? So these are very important issues. And I need to say this about the, you know, before we round up, I just want to point out about the certificate of capital importation. You know, that is actually regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria and is issued in respect of importations of funds that you bring in, equipment and raw materials, you know, brought in, maybe for instance to start up the business, foreign exchange inflows, investments or capital, subject to all the guidelines that the central bank gives, you know, for foreign exchange regulations in Nigeria. So these are very, very important facts to note. So today we've been able to explain, you know, in a sense, the basic requirements and processes for foreign companies to register their business in Nigeria. And we hope that you've gained one or two things. Any foreign business that wants to come in, it's not difficult, definitely. However, there are technical things to make sure that such loose ends are tied up and don't fall victim of certain government regulations that may not be favorable. So it's always better to get the right advice and ensure that, yes, the foreign business could have its footing properly in the Nigerian economy and operate profitably under the Nigerian system. So thank you very much for listening in today. We hope we've been able to dissect this topic today in a sense that is explanatory and self-explanatory to everyone. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you next time.